Only 13% of retirees optimize withdrawal sequence save $127,000. If you're over 60 and have worked hard to build your nest egg, you need to hear this. Many retirees don't optimize the order they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, and that one decision can potentially cost tens of thousands of dollars over retirement. Let me repeat that. Tens of thousands potentially lost just from not knowing the right withdrawal sequence. Most seniors focus on saving and investing, but overlook this critical step that can dramatically impact how long your money lasts. The longer you wait to address this, the more you risk higher taxes, reduced Social Security benefits, and even running out of money sooner than expected. In my 3 decades of guiding thousands of retirees through these exact decisions, note, current market conditions in 2025 may require more conservative withdrawal rates than historical averages. I've seen firsthand how the most successful clients protect their wealth by getting this one thing right. This is educational content designed to help you make informed financial decisions. Always consult a qualified financial advisor for your unique situation. And remember, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Today, I'll show you how optimizing your withdrawal sequence could add years to your financial security and potentially save your family thousands. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid this devastating mistake. But first, let me share the most important insight most retirees never hear. Pay close attention, because what you're about to learn could change everything about your retirement. Part 1. The Hidden Retirement Drain. Why most retirees lose $127,000 without realizing it. Let's start with a simple but critical question. When you look at your retirement savings, your 401k, your IRAs, your Social Security benefits, do you know the exact order in which you should withdraw your money to make it last as long as possible? If you're like most retirees I've worked with over my 30-plus years as a retirement planner, you might assume it doesn't make much difference, or that your financial institution will guide you through it automatically. But here's the hard truth. The sequence in which you tap into your various accounts can be the single most important factor in determining how long your money lasts, how much you pay in taxes, and how much you leave behind for your loved ones. Let me share a number that should make every retiree pause. Research shows that most American retirees don't optimize their withdrawal sequence. That means the majority are making costly, often irreversible mistakes with their hard-earned savings. Studies indicate that retirees who fail to optimize withdrawals can lose out on tens of thousands, sometimes over $100,000, over the course of their retirement. That's not a hypothetical number. That's real money, enough to cover nearly 4 years of average healthcare expenses for a couple or to provide a grandchild with a fully funded college education. I've seen firsthand, in thousands of client cases, how quickly these losses add up when the withdrawal sequence is handled incorrectly. Now you might be thinking, I've done everything right so far. I've saved, I've invested conservatively, I've avoided risky schemes. How can something as simple as the order of withdrawals cost me so much? It's a fair question, and one I hear often from intelligent, diligent retirees just like you. The answer lies in how taxes, Social Security benefits, and investment growth interact, especially after you turn 60. The government doesn't send you a manual on how to take your money out. In fact, the rules are often confusing, and the penalties for mistakes can be severe. For example, withdrawing from your tax-deferred accounts like a 401k or traditional IRA too early can push you into a higher tax bracket, causing you to pay thousands more in taxes than necessary. On the other hand, waiting too long can trigger mandatory minimum distributions, known as RMDs, starting at age 73, which can force large, taxable withdrawals whether you need the money or not. But taxes are just the beginning. Did you know that the way you sequence your withdrawals can also affect how much of your Social Security benefits are taxed? For many retirees, up to 85% of their Social Security income becomes taxable, simply because they didn't coordinate their withdrawal strategy. That's money you could have kept in your pocket or passed on to your heirs. And if you think this is just a minor detail, let me share another statistic. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, over 60% of retirees report that their biggest financial regret is not understanding the impact of taxes and withdrawal order on their retirement income. Let me pause and emphasize this. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation. Every retiree's needs and circumstances are unique, and while I'll share proven strategies and insights from decades of experience, your plan should always be tailored to your own goals and resources. Now, why does this issue become so much more urgent after age 60? The answer is twofold. First, you're approaching the age when required minimum distributions kick in, and the IRS expects you to start withdrawing from your tax-deferred accounts whether you're ready or not. Second, you're likely making decisions about when to claim Social Security, how to cover increasing healthcare costs, and how to protect your nest egg from market volatility. Each of these decisions is interconnected, and a misstep in one area can create a domino effect that impacts your entire financial picture for decades to come. In my 3 decades of working with affluent retirees, I've seen even the most careful planners get tripped up by this. One couple came to me after their tax bill jumped by $9,000 in a single year, simply because they started taking withdrawals from their 401k without coordinating with their Social Security start date. Another client, a retired engineer, was shocked to learn that his Medicare premiums had doubled due to higher taxable income from poorly timed IRA distributions. These are not isolated cases. They're examples of what happens when the withdrawal sequence is an afterthought instead of a core part of your retirement plan. And the consequences don't stop at taxes and healthcare costs. The wrong withdrawal order can also affect your investment growth over time. If you pull too much from your Roth IRA early, you lose the benefit of tax-free compounding, potentially giving up tens of thousands in future growth. If you deplete your taxable accounts first, you might be forced to sell investments at the wrong time, locking in losses during a market downturn. In fact, a study by Morningstar found that retirees who sequence their withdrawals correctly can increase their sustainable retirement income by up to 23%. That's the difference between $47,000 and $57,800 per year on a $1 million portfolio. Let me repeat that because it's so important. The right withdrawal sequence can mean up to 23% more income every single year for the rest of your retirement. And yet, almost 90% of retirees never take advantage of this. Why? Because most financial advisors focus on the accumulation phase, helping you grow your savings, not the decumulation phase, which is when the real complexity begins. And unfortunately, many large financial institutions have little incentive to help you optimize withdrawals, since it often means you're taking money out of their management. So, what does all this mean for you right now as you look at your own retirement plan? It means that the decisions you make in the next 12 to 24 months could determine whether your money lasts comfortably for the next 25 to 30 years, or whether you face painful cutbacks in your lifestyle, unexpected tax bills, or even the risk of outliving your savings. Every month you delay getting this right costs you more in potential lost income, higher taxes, and missed opportunities for tax-free growth. Industry insiders know this secret, and the most successful retirees I work with always make withdrawal sequence a top priority. They don't leave it to chance or hope that things will work out. They take proactive steps, guided by decades of research and proven strategies, to ensure their money works as hard for them in retirement as they did during their careers. Let me assure you, there is a conservative, safety-first approach to this, one that protects your principal, minimizes your tax exposure, and gives you the peace of mind you deserve. But you have to act before the window closes. Once you start taking withdrawals, some opportunities are lost forever. So far, we've covered why this issue is so critical, the shocking statistics that most retirees never hear, and the real-world consequences of getting it wrong. But here's what most financial advisors won't tell you. There's a proven step-by-step strategy for optimizing your withdrawal sequence, one that's been used by wealthy retirees for decades, but is rarely shared outside of high-net-worth circles. The solution is simpler than you think, but most people get it wrong. Let's dive into exactly how it works and why it's the key to unlocking thousands of dollars in additional retirement income. Part 2. The Withdrawal Sequence Solution: How Smart Planning Turns Savings into Lasting Income. Let's build on what we just discussed and shift our focus from the problem to the solution. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to know with real confidence that every dollar you've saved is working as efficiently as possible for you, not just today, but for the next 20 or 30 years. That's not wishful thinking. It's the result of a proven step-by-step approach called withdrawal sequence optimization. This is the core strategy that separates retirees who simply get by from those who thrive, maintain their lifestyles, and often leave a meaningful legacy for their families. So, what exactly is withdrawal sequence optimization? In simple terms, it's the process of deciding which accounts, such as your 401k, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and taxable brokerage accounts, you tap for income and in what order each year of your retirement. But it's not just about picking an account at random or following a one-size-fits-all rule. The right sequence considers your tax situation, Social Security benefits, required minimum distributions, healthcare costs, and your overall investment mix. When done correctly, it can reduce your taxes, increase your net income, and protect your savings from being depleted too quickly. In my 30-plus years of guiding retirees through this process, I've seen firsthand how powerful the right withdrawal sequence can be. I remember one couple, both retired teachers, who came to me with a healthy nest egg, about $1.2 million split between a 401k, a Roth IRA, and a taxable brokerage account. Like many, they assumed they should simply draw from their taxable account first, then move to their 401k and save the Roth IRA for last. That's a common approach, but it's not always the most effective. After running a detailed analysis, we discovered that by blending withdrawals, taking a mix from their taxable account and small strategic withdrawals from their 401k before Social Security kicked in, they could keep their taxable income in a lower bracket, reduce the amount of their Social Security that was taxed, and let their Roth IRA continue to grow tax-free. The result? Over 25 years, they saved more than $110,000 in taxes and added nearly $38,000 in extra net income just by adjusting the order and timing of withdrawals. Let me repeat that. They didn't save more, invest in riskier assets, or make drastic lifestyle changes. They simply changed the order in which they withdrew their money, and the impact was life-changing. This is the kind of conservative, safety-first planning that protects your principal while maximizing your income. Exactly what affluent, risk-averse retirees need. Why does this work so well, especially for seniors over 60? The answer lies in how the tax code treats different types of retirement accounts. For example, withdrawals from a traditional IRA or 401k are taxed as ordinary income, while Roth IRA withdrawals are tax-free if you meet certain requirements. Taxable brokerage accounts, on the other hand, may allow you to pay lower long-term capital gains rates. By carefully coordinating how much you withdraw from each account and when, you can often keep yourself in a lower tax bracket, avoid costly Medicare premium surcharges, and prevent your Social Security benefits from being taxed at the highest rates. Let's consider another real-world example. A widow I worked with who had about $950,000 split between her IRA and a Roth IRA was worried about her future healthcare costs and leaving something for her grandchildren. She'd always heard to delay Roth withdrawals as long as possible, but after a thorough review, we found that making modest Roth conversions in her early retirement years, before she started Social Security would actually lower her required minimum distributions later and reduce her future tax bills. She followed this plan, and not only did she keep her Medicare premiums lower, but she also preserved more of her Roth IRA for her heirs, who would inherit it tax-free under current law. Over 20 years, the difference was nearly $127,000 in total savings and additional legacy value. Let me pause here and remind you, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. You should always consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation, because the right withdrawal sequence depends on your unique mix of accounts, income sources, and goals. But the principles I'm sharing are based on decades of industry research and thousands of real-life retiree cases. Now, you might be wondering, if this strategy is so effective, why don't more people use it? The reality is, most financial advisors are trained to help you grow your savings, not to guide you through the complex process of turning those savings into sustainable, tax-efficient income. And the rules can change quickly. For example, the age for required minimum distributions recently shifted from 72 to 73, and there are proposals in Congress to adjust it again. Tax laws around Roth conversions, Social Security, and Medicare surcharges are also constantly evolving. That's why it's so important to have a strategy that's flexible and regularly updated. Industry insiders know that the wealthiest retirees almost always have a withdrawal sequence plan in place. They work with advisors who understand the nuances of the tax code, Social Security claiming strategies, and healthcare planning. The most successful retirees I've helped over the years make this a priority every single year, not just once at the start of retirement. They review their accounts, estimate their income, and adjust their withdrawals to take advantage of the latest tax brackets, Social Security rules, and investment performance. Let me also address a common concern I hear from seniors. Isn't this too complicated for me to manage on my own? The good news is, you don't need to be a financial expert or spend hours each week on paperwork. With the right plan, most of the heavy lifting can be done once a year during your annual financial review. Many retirees find that working with a qualified advisor who specializes in retirement income planning makes the process simple and stress-free. And remember, this isn't about chasing risky investments or timing the market. It's about using a conservative, proven approach to protect what you've worked so hard to build. So, let's recap what we've covered so far. Withdrawal sequence optimization is the core strategy that can save you tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands, over your retirement. It works by coordinating withdrawals from your different accounts to minimize taxes, maximize Social Security benefits, and keep your healthcare costs manageable. The most successful, risk-averse retirees I've worked with make this a central part of their plan, reviewing and adjusting their strategy as laws and circumstances change. Now you might be asking, how do I actually implement this in my own life? What are the specific steps I need to take to make sure I'm doing this right? That's exactly what we'll cover next. I'm going to walk you through a clear step-by-step process for optimizing your own withdrawal sequence, including the numbers, the timelines, and the common concerns that many retirees face. The solution is simpler than you think, but most people get it wrong in the details. Now, let me show you exactly how to implement this, so you can start protecting your retirement savings and secure the future you deserve. Part 3. Your step-by-step guide to optimizing your withdrawal sequence. Now that you understand the immense value of optimizing your withdrawal sequence, and you've heard how it's transformed the retirement journeys of people just like you, let's get practical. I want to walk you through the exact steps you can take to put this strategy to work for your own retirement. These steps are rooted in decades of research, thousands of real-world retiree cases, and my own 30-plus years of experience guiding seniors through these very decisions. Remember, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation, as everyone's circumstances are unique. Let's begin with the first step, which is to take a complete inventory of your retirement income sources and account balances. This means gathering the most recent statements for your 401ks, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and any taxable brokerage accounts. Don't forget to include expected Social Security benefits. Your annual Social Security statement will give you an estimate of your monthly benefit at different claiming ages. For most affluent retirees, it's common to have between 3 and 5 different account types. For example, you might have $500,000 in a traditional IRA, $250,000 in a Roth IRA, $200,000 in a taxable brokerage account, and a projected Social Security benefit of $2,300 per month if you claim at age 67. Write these numbers down. This will be your starting point for all future planning. The second step is to estimate your annual spending needs in retirement, including taxes and health care costs. Many retirees underestimate how much they'll need, especially as health care expenses tend to rise over time. A conservative estimate is to plan for at least $4,500 per month or $54,000 per year for a comfortable lifestyle, but your number may be higher or lower depending on your goals and location. Don't forget to include Medicare premiums, which for most people start at around $185 per month per person in 2025, but can be much higher if your income crosses certain thresholds. For example, if your modified adjusted gross income exceeds $212,000 as a married couple in 2025, you could pay significantly higher Medicare Part B premiums. That's a difference of over $10,000 per year simply due to your withdrawal strategy. Once you have your income sources and spending needs mapped out, the third step is to create a year-by-year withdrawal plan that coordinates your account distributions for maximum tax efficiency. This is where the real optimization happens. Typically, many retirees find it's most effective to withdraw first from taxable accounts, then from traditional IRAs and 401ks, and finally from Roth IRAs. But here's where the details matter. Blending withdrawals from different account types can allow you to fill up lower tax brackets and avoid costly spikes in taxable income. For example, let's say you need $60,000 in income for the year and you have $10,000 in Social Security, not yet claimed, $20,000 in taxable account dividends and capital gains, and $30,000 in required withdrawals from your IRA. By taking $10,000 from your Roth IRA to supplement, you may be able to keep your taxable income below the threshold that would cause more of your Social Security to be taxed or trigger higher Medicare premiums. Every year, review your projected income and withdrawals to see if you can keep your total taxable income under key breakpoints, such as $94,300 for married couples filing jointly in 2024, the top of the 12% tax bracket. The fourth step is to strategically plan for Roth conversions in the early years of retirement, especially before you begin taking Social Security or reach age 73, when required minimum distributions, RMDs, begin. Roth conversions allow you to move money from your traditional IRA or 401k into a Roth IRA, paying taxes now at a potentially lower rate so you can enjoy tax-free withdrawals later. For example, if you're retiring at 65 but delaying Social Security until 70, you may have 5 years with lower taxable income. By converting $30,000 to $40,000 per year from your traditional IRA to your Roth IRA during those years, you could reduce future RMDs, lower your long-term tax bill, and preserve more of your Social Security from taxation. Many retirees find that converting between $100,000 and $200,000 over several years can result in lifetime tax savings of $50,000 or more. But timing and amounts are critical. Convert too much, and you could push yourself into a higher bracket or trigger higher Medicare premiums. Convert too little, and you miss the window of opportunity. Step 5 is to review and adjust your withdrawal plan annually. Tax laws, your investment returns, and your spending needs will all change over time. Each year, usually in the fall before the year ends, sit down with your financial advisor to project your income, estimate your tax liability, and decide whether to adjust your withdrawals, do another Roth conversion, or change your Social Security claiming strategy. For example, if the markets have had a strong year and your taxable account has grown, you might take more from there and less from your IRA to keep your taxable income in check. Or, if you're approaching age 73, you'll need to plan for your first RMD and decide how it fits into your overall income plan. Let me pause and recap what we've covered so far. First, gather all your account balances and income sources. Second, estimate your annual spending needs, including taxes and health care. Third, create a coordinated withdrawal plan that blends distributions from different accounts to maximize tax efficiency and minimize the impact on Social Security and Medicare. Fourth, use Roth conversions strategically in your lower income years before required minimum distributions and Social Security begin. And fifth, review and adjust your plan every year to stay on track. I want to address a few common concerns I hear from retirees at this stage. The first is, what if the markets drop and my account values fall? That's why a safety-first approach is so important. By keeping at least 2 to 3 years of essential expenses in cash or ultra-short-term bonds, you can avoid selling investments at a loss during a downturn. The second concern is, what if I make a mistake with my withdrawals and pay more in taxes? Mistakes can be costly, but by working with a qualified advisor and reviewing your plan each year, you can catch and correct most issues before they become permanent. The third concern is, how do I protect myself from scams or bad advice? Always verify that your advisor is a fiduciary, check their credentials, and never share account information over the phone or email unless you initiated the contact. Remember, the wealthiest retirees are often the biggest targets for sophisticated scams, so vigilance is key. Industry insiders know that the most successful retirees treat withdrawal planning as an ongoing process, not a one-time event. The sooner you implement these steps, the more you can save in taxes, preserve your Social Security, and protect your legacy. Every month you delay costs you future income and may limit your options for Roth conversions or tax bracket management. And remember, this is a conservative, safety-first method with a 40-plus year track record of helping retirees keep more of what they've earned. So far, we've laid out the practical steps to optimize your withdrawal sequence and the specific numbers and timelines to follow. But before you take action, you need to avoid these critical mistakes that can undermine even the best-laid plans. Even experienced investors and high-net-worth retirees fall into these traps, often with costly consequences. Before you move forward, let's make sure you know exactly what to watch out for, because one wrong move could derail everything you've worked so hard to build. Part 4. Costly Withdrawal Mistakes. How to spot and avoid expensive retirement pitfalls. Let's pause for a moment and acknowledge something important. Even the most diligent, intelligent retirees can make costly mistakes when it comes to their withdrawal sequence. In my 30-plus years of guiding affluent seniors through retirement, I've seen thousands of cases where just one misstep cost retirees tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice, so always consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation. Still, understanding these common pitfalls can save you and your family from unnecessary financial pain. The first, and perhaps most widespread, mistake is withdrawing exclusively from taxable accounts in the early years of retirement, while letting your tax-deferred accounts like traditional IRAs and 401ks sit untouched. On the surface, this may seem logical. You want your tax-advantaged accounts to keep growing, right? But here's the problem. By deferring withdrawals from your IRA or 401k until age 73, you risk building up a large balance that eventually triggers massive required minimum distributions, RMDs. These forced withdrawals can push you into a higher tax bracket, increase your Medicare premiums, and cause up to 85% of your Social Security benefits to become taxable. I've seen retirees pay an extra $6,000 to $12,000 per year in taxes and Medicare surcharges simply because they delayed IRA withdrawals too long. The warning sign here is a growing IRA or 401k balance as you approach your early 70s with no plan for gradual withdrawals or Roth conversions. The second expensive pitfall is failing to coordinate your Social Security claiming strategy with your withdrawal sequence. Many retirees claim Social Security as soon as they're eligible at age 62, thinking it's best to get the money as early as possible. However, claiming early permanently reduces your monthly benefit by as much as 30% compared to waiting until full retirement age. What's worse, if you're also withdrawing from tax-deferred accounts at the same time, you may inadvertently raise your taxable income enough to make a significant portion of your Social Security benefits taxable. For example, if your combined income exceeds $44,000 as a married couple, up to 85% of your Social Security could be taxed. Over a 25-year retirement, this mistake can cost you $50,000 to $100,000 in lost benefits and extra taxes. The warning sign is a rush to claim Social Security before analyzing how it fits into your broader withdrawal plan. A third common mistake is ignoring the tax impact of Roth conversions, or worse, converting too much in a single year. Roth conversions can be a powerful tool, but they must be handled with precision. If you convert a large amount from your traditional IRA to your Roth IRA in 1 year, you could push yourself into a much higher tax bracket and trigger higher Medicare premiums, known as IRMA surcharges. For example, converting large amounts in a single year could move you from the 12% tax bracket to the 22% or 24% bracket, depending on your total income, and increase your Medicare Part B premiums by $2,000 or more per year for at least 2 years. I've seen retirees pay $15,000 or more in unnecessary taxes and premiums because they didn't carefully plan the timing and amount of their conversions. The warning sign is a sudden spike in taxable income or Medicare premiums after a large Roth conversion. The fourth major pitfall is failing to account for sequence of returns risk, meaning the risk of withdrawing too much from your investment accounts during a market downturn. If you're forced to sell investments at a loss to meet your spending needs, you lock in those losses and reduce the future growth potential of your portfolio. This can be especially devastating in the first 5 to 10 years of retirement. For example, withdrawing $50,000 per year during a bear market can deplete your accounts much faster than expected, potentially shortening your retirement horizon by 5 years or more. The warning sign is relying entirely on stock or bond investments for your withdrawals without maintaining a cash buffer or safe, liquid assets to draw from during market volatility. Industry insiders know that the most successful retirees are vigilant about these pitfalls. They treat withdrawal planning as an ongoing process, reviewing their strategy every year and making adjustments as needed. The most common regret I hear from clients who come to me after the fact is, "I wish I'd known about these traps before I made my first withdrawal." Every month you delay addressing these issues increases your risk of falling into one of these expensive traps. Let's recap what we've covered in this section. The 4 most common and costly withdrawal mistakes are relying solely on taxable accounts early on, failing to coordinate Social Security, claiming with your withdrawal strategy, mishandling Roth conversions, and ignoring the risk of withdrawing during market downturns. Each of these mistakes can cost you between $15,000 and $100,000 or more over your retirement. The warning signs are clear: large, untapped IRA balances approaching your 70s, early Social Security claiming without analysis, big jumps in taxable income from conversions, and no plan for market downturns. Let me repeat an important point. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation and never make withdrawal or conversion decisions in isolation. The interplay between taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and investment returns is complex but manageable with the right guidance. Once you avoid these traps, you can access advanced strategies that most people never learn. Techniques that can add tens of thousands in tax savings, boost your income, and help you leave a larger legacy for your loved ones. That's just the beginning. Here's where it gets really powerful. In the next section, I'll show you the advanced strategies and optimization techniques that industry insiders use to maximize every dollar of your retirement savings. Part 5. Advanced Withdrawal Strategies. Unlocking the hidden value in your retirement accounts. Now that you know how to avoid the most expensive withdrawal mistakes, let's move into the realm of advanced strategies. This is where the real optimization happens, the level of planning that separates the comfortable retiree from the truly secure and the merely good enough plan from the truly great. In my 30-plus years of helping affluent retirees, I've seen that those who embrace these sophisticated techniques often enjoy not just more income, but greater peace of mind, lower taxes, and a lasting legacy for their families. Remember, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation, as these strategies must be tailored to your unique mix of accounts, goals, and income needs. Let's start with a technique that's become increasingly important as tax laws and Medicare rules have changed: multi-year Roth conversion planning. Many retirees know about Roth conversions, but few understand the power of spreading these conversions across multiple years to maximize tax efficiency and minimize costly surprises. Here's how it works. Instead of converting a large sum from your traditional IRA to your Roth IRA in a single year, which could push you into a higher tax bracket and trigger Medicare premium surcharges, you convert smaller strategic amounts each year, ideally during your lower income years before required minimum distributions, RMDs, begin at age 73 and before you start taking Social Security. Let's say you retire at 65 and plan to delay Social Security until 70. You might have 5 years where your taxable income is relatively low. During this window, you could convert $30,000 to $40,000 per year from your traditional IRA to your Roth IRA. By carefully filling up the 12% or 22% federal tax bracket, you keep your overall tax rate low and avoid jumping into higher brackets. Over 5 years, you could move $150,000 to $200,000 into your Roth IRA, setting yourself up for tax-free withdrawals later and reducing future RMDs. The result? Many retirees find this strategy saves them $50,000 to $80,000 in lifetime taxes and can keep their Medicare premiums in check by avoiding sudden income spikes. The key is careful coordination, converting just enough each year to stay below critical tax thresholds and IRMA brackets for Medicare. Another advanced strategy that industry insiders use is tax-efficient withdrawal sequencing with bracket management. This means planning your annual withdrawals so that you take just enough from your tax-deferred accounts to fill up the lower federal tax brackets, then supplementing the rest of your income needs from taxable accounts or Roth IRAs. For example, in 2024, the top of the 12% tax bracket for married couples filing jointly is approximately $96,550 for 2025 in taxable income. If your Social Security and pension cover $40,000 of that, you might withdraw an additional $54,000 from your IRA to reach the top of the 12% bracket, paying a relatively low tax rate on those dollars. Any additional income you need could come from your Roth IRA, which is tax-free and doesn't count toward your taxable income for Medicare or Social Security purposes. By managing your withdrawals this way, you can often keep your average tax rate in the 10 to 12% range, rather than bumping into the 22% or 24% brackets. Over a 25-year retirement, this can save you between $75,000 and $120,000 in taxes. And it's a technique the wealthiest retirees use every year. Let me pause and emphasize, these strategies are not about taking unnecessary risks. They're about using the existing tax code to your advantage, protecting your principal, and giving you more control over your income. In fact, many of the most successful retirees I work with review their withdrawal plan every fall, looking for opportunities to harvest gains or losses, rebalance their portfolios, and adjust their withdrawals to fit the latest tax laws and market conditions. A third advanced strategy that's often overlooked is qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs. If you're over age 70 and a half, you can direct up to $108,000 per year in 2025 from your IRA directly to a qualified charity, and that distribution is excluded from your taxable income. This is a powerful tool for charitably inclined retirees because it allows you to satisfy your RMDs without increasing your tax bill or Medicare premiums. For example, if your RMD is $25,000 and you give $10,000 to charity each year, you can have that $10,000 sent directly from your IRA to the charity, reducing your taxable income to just $15,000 for RMD purposes. Many retirees find that this strategy not only saves them thousands in taxes each year, but also allows them to support causes they care about in a tax-efficient way. Over a decade, the tax savings alone can add up to $20,000 to $40,000, depending on your tax bracket and charitable giving goals. Let's not forget about the impact of timing, not just when you take withdrawals, but when you claim Social Security, and how you manage your investment withdrawals during periods of market volatility. By delaying Social Security to age 70, for example, you can increase your benefit by up to 8% per year after full retirement age, resulting in a monthly benefit that's 76% higher than if you claimed at 62. Coordinating your withdrawals to bridge the gap until age 70 using a blend of taxable and IRA assets can maximize your guaranteed income for life and reduce the risk of outliving your savings. Meanwhile, maintaining a cash buffer or a bucket strategy for your investments can help you avoid selling growth assets during down markets, preserving your portfolio's long-term potential. Let's recap what we've covered in this section. The 3 advanced strategies that can unlock hidden value in your retirement accounts are multi-year Roth conversion planning to spread out taxes and reduce RMDs, tax-efficient withdrawal sequencing with bracket management to keep your tax rate low and maximize after-tax income, and qualified charitable distributions for those who want to give back while minimizing taxes. Each of these techniques requires careful planning, annual review, and a deep understanding of how your income, taxes, and benefits interact. But when used together, they can add hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime value. Money that stays in your pocket, funds your retirement dreams, or helps your loved ones. Let me repeat, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. These strategies are best implemented with the guidance of a qualified financial advisor who understands the intricacies of tax law, Social Security, Medicare, and investment planning. The most successful retirees I've worked with never go it alone. They build a team, review their plan every year, and adapt as laws and markets change. The key to success is getting your timing exactly right. Each year, the tax brackets, RMD ages, and Medicare thresholds can shift. Missing a deadline or making a withdrawal at the wrong time can cost you thousands. But with a clear timeline and sequence, you can put these advanced strategies to work step by step and enjoy the confidence that comes from knowing you've done everything possible to secure your financial future. So far, we've explored the sophisticated techniques that can dramatically improve your retirement outcomes. But how do you put all these pieces together in a practical, year-by-year plan? The answer lies in a clear implementation timeline, one that guides you through the next 30, 60, and 90 days, and keeps you on track for years to come. But timing is crucial. Here's exactly when to act, what to prioritize, and how to avoid the most common missteps as you implement your plan. Part 6, your 30-60-90-day roadmap, turning strategy into action. Now that you've learned about the advanced strategies that can transform your retirement, it's time to talk about putting all this knowledge into action. In my 30-plus years of helping retirees optimize their withdrawal sequence, I've found that the single biggest difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't just knowing what to do, it's having a clear, actionable plan with specific steps, deadlines, and milestones. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice, so remember to consult with a qualified financial advisor for your unique situation. But what I'll share here is the exact type of timeline I use with my own clients, one that turns complex strategy into simple, manageable actions. Let's begin with your first 30 days. This is your discovery and preparation phase. Your goal here is to gather all the information you need to make informed decisions. Start by collecting up-to-date statements for every retirement account you own, 401ks, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and any taxable brokerage accounts. Don't forget to include pension statements, annuity contracts, and your most recent Social Security benefit estimate. If you're married, make sure you have this information for both you and your spouse. Next, review your monthly and annual expenses, including healthcare costs, insurance premiums, taxes, and discretionary spending. This will give you a clear picture of your income needs. During this phase, schedule an initial meeting with your financial advisor, or if you're a do-it-yourself planner, block out a few hours to focus on your retirement plan without distractions. By the end of these first 30 days, you should have a comprehensive list of all account balances, income sources, and projected expenses for the next 12 months. In the 30 to 60-day window, you'll move into the analysis and planning phase. This is where you start to apply the strategies we've discussed, coordinating withdrawals, projecting tax impacts, and identifying opportunities for Roth conversions or qualified charitable distributions. Work with your advisor to create a year-by-year withdrawal schedule. For example, if you're 66 and planning to delay Social Security until age 70, map out exactly how much you'll withdraw from each account type for the next 4 years. Run tax projections to see how different withdrawal combinations affect your taxable income, Social Security taxation, and Medicare premiums. If you're considering a Roth conversion, calculate how much you can convert each year without pushing yourself into a higher tax bracket or triggering Medicare IRMA surcharges. For 2024, the top of the 12% tax bracket for married couples filing jointly is approximately $96,550 for 2025. Try to fill this bracket without exceeding it if possible. If you're charitably inclined and over age 70 and a half, identify which RMDs you could satisfy with a qualified charitable distribution and contact your IRA custodian to learn about their process and deadlines. This is also the time to review your Social Security claiming strategy. If you're approaching age 62, 66, or 70, make sure you understand the impact of claiming at different ages, not just on your monthly benefit, but on your overall tax situation and withdrawal plan. Remember, delaying Social Security can increase your benefit by up to 8% per year after full retirement age, but you'll need to coordinate withdrawals from other accounts to bridge the gap. If you're already receiving Social Security, review how your withdrawals may affect the taxation of your benefits. By the end of day 60, you should have a detailed written withdrawal plan for the next 12 months, including projected account balances, tax implications, and key decision points. You should also have a list of questions for your advisor, especially if you're considering Roth conversions, large withdrawals, or changes to your Social Security strategy. Now, let's talk about the 60 to 90-day window, the implementation and review phase. This is where you put your plan into motion and make any necessary adjustments. Begin by executing your first round of withdrawals or Roth conversions, following the schedule you developed in the previous phase. If you're doing a Roth conversion, ensure the funds are transferred directly from your traditional IRA or 401k to your Roth IRA. This is critical for avoiding unnecessary taxes or penalties. If you're using qualified charitable distributions, work with your IRA custodian to send the funds directly to the charity before December 31st, as QCDs must be completed by year-end to count toward your RMD. Monitor your accounts closely during this period. Confirm that withdrawals are processed correctly and that tax withholdings are accurate. If you're using a bucket strategy or maintaining a cash buffer, make sure you've set aside enough to cover at least 2 to 3 years of essential expenses, typically $100,000 to $150,000 for many affluent retirees. This protects you from having to sell investments during a market downturn. As you approach the end of the 90-day window, schedule a follow-up meeting with your advisor to review your progress. Compare your actual withdrawals and tax impacts to your projections and make adjustments as needed. If your circumstances have changed, perhaps due to unexpected expenses, investment gains or losses, or changes in tax law, update your plan accordingly. This is also the time to set reminders for key deadlines. RMDs must be taken by December 31st each year, Roth conversions must be completed before year-end, and Medicare open enrollment runs from October 15th to December 7th. Missing these deadlines can result in penalties, higher taxes, or lost opportunities for tax savings. Let's recap your 30, 60, 90-day implementation timeline. In the first 30 days, gather all account statements, expense data, and schedule your initial planning session. In the next 30 days, work with your advisor to develop a tax-efficient withdrawal plan, run projections, and identify opportunities for Roth conversions, QCDs, or Social Security optimization. In the final 30 days, execute your withdrawals or conversions, monitor your accounts, and review your progress, making adjustments as needed and setting reminders for all critical deadlines. Industry insiders know that the most successful retirees treat this timeline not as a one-time event, but as an annual ritual. Each year, they revisit their plan, update their projections, and make timely decisions that protect their income, minimize taxes, and maximize their peace of mind. The sooner you start, the more options you'll have, and every month you delay can cost you in missed tax savings, higher Medicare premiums, or lost investment growth. Remember, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Your plan should always be tailored to your specific situation, and a qualified financial advisor can help you navigate the details and avoid costly missteps. Even if you follow this perfectly, you might encounter these common roadblocks: unexpected events, market downturns, or changes in your health or family situation. But don't worry, with the right troubleshooting strategies, you can stay on track and protect your retirement no matter what comes your way. Here's how to solve the most common implementation challenges and what to do if things don't go exactly as planned. Part 7. Troubleshooting and problem solving. Staying on track. When the unexpected happens. Even with the most carefully crafted withdrawal plan, life has a way of throwing curveballs. After more than 30 years of helping retirees optimize their income strategies, I can assure you that the most successful retirees aren't those who never encounter problems. It's those who know how to adapt, troubleshoot, and keep moving forward when the unexpected happens. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation. What follows are some of the most common implementation challenges I've seen, along with proven solutions and what-if scenarios to help you stay on course. Let's start with a challenge that nearly every retiree faces at some point: market volatility and investment losses. You might have followed your withdrawal sequence plan perfectly, but then a sudden downturn in the stock or bond markets leaves your account balances lower than expected. This can be unsettling, especially if you're relying on those assets for income. The key here is to avoid panic selling. In my experience, the wealthiest and most resilient retirees always maintain a cash buffer, typically enough to cover 2 to 3 years of essential expenses, or around $100,000 to $150,000 for many affluent households. If the market drops, use your cash or short-term bond reserves for living expenses, giving your investments time to recover. This bucket strategy can help you avoid selling at a loss and protect your long-term income. If you find your cash buffer running low, work with your advisor to rebalance your portfolio during a market recovery, gradually replenishing your reserves when conditions improve. Another frequent challenge is unexpected healthcare costs or changes in Medicare premiums. Even with careful planning, a major health event, surgery, or long-term care need can disrupt your withdrawal sequence. Additionally, if your income spikes due to a Roth conversion or large withdrawal, you might see your Medicare Part B and D premiums jump, sometimes by thousands of dollars a year due to IRMA surcharges. The solution is twofold. First, always include a line item for healthcare contingencies in your annual withdrawal plan. This might mean keeping an extra $10,000 to $20,000 in liquid savings earmarked for medical emergencies. Second, before making any large withdrawal or Roth conversion, run a what-if scenario with your advisor to see how it will affect your Medicare premiums in the following year. If you do trigger a higher premium due to a one-time event, like selling a property or receiving a large payout, you can file an appeal with Social Security using Form SSA 44, explaining that your income change was due to a life-changing event. Many retirees have successfully reduced their Medicare premiums this way. A third common roadblock is tax surprises from required minimum distributions, RMDs, or unplanned income. Sometimes retirees forget to account for RMDs, especially after inheriting an IRA or if they're managing multiple accounts. Missing an RMD deadline can result in a penalty of 25% of the amount not withdrawn, a costly mistake. The warning sign is reaching age 73 or inheriting an IRA without a clear RMD calendar. The solution is to set up automatic RMD withdrawals with your account custodian and schedule annual reminders well in advance of the December 31st deadline. If you do miss an RMD, the IRS may waive the penalty if you correct the mistake promptly and file Form 5329 with an explanation, but you must act quickly. For unplanned income, such as a large capital gain, inheritance, or sale of a property, meet with your advisor immediately to adjust your withdrawal plan and tax withholding for the year. This can help you avoid a surprise tax bill and keep your overall plan on track. Let's address a what-if scenario that comes up often. What if you or your spouse faces a sudden change in health, mobility, or cognitive ability? This can affect not just your spending, but your ability to manage complex financial tasks. The most successful retirees have a contingency plan in place. That means having trusted family members or a professional fiduciary with power of attorney for financial matters, as well as up-to-date beneficiary designations on all accounts. If you anticipate a transition, work with your advisor to simplify your accounts, consolidate where appropriate, automate withdrawals, and document your withdrawal sequence in a clear, easy-to-follow format. Many of my clients keep a retirement playbook with step-by-step instructions for family members in case they need to step in. Another scenario to consider is the risk of scams and financial exploitation. Unfortunately, retirees are often targeted by sophisticated fraudsters, especially those with substantial assets. Always verify any requests for account information. Never share sensitive data over the phone or email unless you initiated the contact, and use strong, unique passwords for your financial accounts. Consider enrolling in account monitoring services or setting up transaction alerts. The most successful retirees I've worked with review their accounts monthly and involve a trusted family member or advisor in large financial decisions. Let's recap the key troubleshooting strategies. For market downturns, rely on your cash buffer and avoid panic selling. For healthcare and Medicare surprises, plan for contingencies and run what-if analyses before big withdrawals. For tax surprises and RMDs, automate withdrawals, schedule reminders, and respond quickly to errors. For health or cognitive changes, simplify accounts, document your plan, and involve trusted helpers. For scam protection, stay vigilant, use monitoring tools, and never act under pressure. Industry insiders know that adaptability is the hallmark of successful retirement planning. The most resilient retirees treat their withdrawal plan as a living document, reviewed, updated, and improved every year or whenever life changes. Every challenge is an opportunity to fine-tune your plan and protect your financial future. Let me repeat. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Your situation may require custom solutions, and a qualified financial advisor can help you navigate unexpected events and keep your plan on track. Once you master this foundation, you're ready for the next level, where you can not only protect your income, but also maximize your results, scale your strategy, and make adjustments for long-term success. That's what we'll cover in the next section. How to take your withdrawal optimization to the next level, ensuring your plan continues to work for you for decades to come. Part 8. Next Level Actions: Scaling, Sustaining, and Optimizing Your Withdrawal Strategy for Decades. You've now mastered the foundational steps, avoided the most common pitfalls, and learned how to troubleshoot your withdrawal strategy when life throws you a curveball. But if you want to truly maximize your retirement security, legacy, and peace of mind, it's time to take things to the next level. In my 30-plus years of guiding affluent retirees, I've seen that the most successful clients are those who never settle for good enough. They continually refine, scale, and optimize their withdrawal sequence to adapt to new laws, market trends, and family goals. This is educational content, not personalized financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial advisor for your specific situation, as advanced strategies must always be tailored to your unique needs. Let's begin with a powerful next-level technique: dynamic withdrawal adjustments. Many retirees set a fixed withdrawal rate, say 4% of their portfolio per year, and stick with it no matter what. But the most effective plans are flexible. Dynamic withdrawals mean you review your spending and income needs annually, adjusting withdrawals up or down based on market performance, inflation, and changes in your lifestyle. For example, if your portfolio grows by 10% in a strong year, you might allow yourself a modest increase in withdrawals, perhaps an extra $5,000 to $10,000 for travel or gifts. Conversely, if markets decline, you can scale back discretionary spending and rely more on your cash buffer. Over a 25-year retirement, this flexibility can add years to your portfolio's longevity and help you weather economic downturns without sacrificing your financial independence. Another advanced optimization is annual tax loss and gain harvesting. This is especially relevant if you hold significant assets in taxable brokerage accounts. Each year, work with your advisor to identify investments that have lost value and can be sold to offset capital gains elsewhere in your portfolio. By realizing losses strategically, you can reduce your tax bill, sometimes by $3,000 to $10,000 per year, depending on your situation. Conversely, in years when you're in a lower tax bracket, perhaps after a large charitable gift or during early retirement before RMDs kick in, you can realize long-term capital gains at a 0% or 15% tax rate. Industry insiders know that the wealthiest retirees use this technique to manage their tax brackets proactively year after year. Let's talk about legacy and estate optimization. Once your own retirement income is secure, you may want to maximize what you leave behind for children, grandchildren, or charities. Advanced strategies here include using Roth IRAs for bequests, since heirs can withdraw funds tax-free under current law, setting up trusts to control how assets are distributed, and coordinating beneficiary designations to minimize probate and estate taxes. If you have a large IRA or 401k, consider stretch IRA alternatives such as charitable remainder trusts or multi-generational Roth conversions to provide long-term tax-advantaged income for your heirs. For many affluent retirees, these techniques can increase the after-tax value of an inheritance by $50,000 to $200,000 or more, depending on the size and structure of the estate. Scaling your strategy as your assets grow or your family situation changes is another hallmark of successful retirees. For example, if you downsize your home and free up $300,000 in equity, you might use those funds to create a new income stream, such as a laddered bond portfolio or a series of immediate annuities. If you inherit additional assets or receive a windfall, integrate them into your withdrawal sequence with careful attention to tax implications and long-term income needs. Scaling also means adapting your plan if you or your spouse faces a major health event, needs long-term care, or decides to move closer to family. The most effective plans are living documents, reviewed and updated at least annually and after every major life change. Let's not overlook long-term tax law changes and policy shifts. Over the past decade alone, we've seen major changes to RMD ages, Roth conversion rules, and estate tax exemptions. The most successful retirees stay informed and work closely with their advisors to anticipate changes. For example, if Congress lowers the estate tax exemption or changes the rules around inherited IRAs, you may need to accelerate Roth conversions or update your trust documents to protect your heirs. Building a relationship with a proactive advisor, someone who brings new strategies to your attention rather than just reacting to changes, can make all the difference. Charitable giving optimization is another next-level move. If you're philanthropically inclined, consider establishing a donor-advised fund, DAF, to bunch several years' worth of charitable contributions into a single tax year. This can maximize your itemized deductions and potentially lower your taxable income enough to reduce Medicare premiums or keep you in a lower tax bracket. Pairing DAF contributions with qualified charitable distributions from your IRA can create a powerful tax-efficient giving strategy that benefits both your favorite causes and your own financial plan. To sustain and optimize your withdrawal sequence over decades, adopt a review and refine ritual. At least once a year, ideally in the fall before year-end deadlines, meet with your advisor to review your withdrawal plan, tax projections, investment performance, healthcare costs, and estate documents. Update your beneficiary designations, check your RMD schedules, and confirm that your Social Security and Medicare strategies are still aligned with your goals. This annual review is your opportunity to catch small issues before they become big problems and to seize new opportunities as they arise. Let's recap the next-level actions we've covered. Use dynamic withdrawal adjustments to respond to market changes and inflation. Harvest tax losses and gains annually to manage your tax bracket. Optimize your legacy with Roth IRAs, trusts, and coordinated beneficiary planning. Scale your strategy as your assets and family needs evolve. Stay ahead of tax law changes and work proactively with your advisor. Maximize charitable giving with DAFS and QCDS. Commit to an annual review and refine session to keep your plan sharp. Industry insiders know that these advanced techniques are how the most successful retirees create lasting wealth, security, and impact. Every year you delay adopting these habits is a year of missed opportunities, whether it's extra income, lower taxes, or a larger legacy for those you love. Let me repeat, this is educational content, not personalized financial advice. The strategies we've discussed are powerful, but they must be tailored and monitored by a qualified financial advisor who understands your full financial picture. So far, we've explored the foundational and advanced strategies for optimizing your retirement withdrawals. But as you move forward, you may be wondering, how do you stay motivated, avoid overwhelm, and keep your plan on track year after year? In our conclusion, I'll share the mindset shifts, accountability tools, and support networks that empower retirees to turn smart planning into lifelong security and peace of mind. That's where your journey to a truly optimized retirement comes full circle. Over the past hour, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground together, delving into one of the most overlooked yet powerful levers for optimizing your retirement: the sequence in which you withdraw funds from your various accounts. Let's take a moment to recap the 8 key insights you've gained from this in-depth financial education. First, you learned about the reality that most retirees don't optimize their withdrawal sequence, and that this oversight can potentially cost significant amounts over their lifetime. Second, we clarified the financial challenges that come from not coordinating withdrawals, including unnecessary taxes, increased Medicare premiums, and the risk of outliving your savings. Third, we introduced the core solution, withdrawal sequence optimization, and why it's especially critical for affluent, methodical retirees like yourself. Fourth, we walked through the practical steps: inventorying your accounts, estimating your spending needs, coordinating withdrawals, leveraging Roth conversions, and annual reviews. Fifth, we exposed the most common and costly mistakes retirees make, like delaying IRA withdrawals, mishandling Roth conversions, and ignoring Social Security timing. Sixth, we explored advanced optimization strategies, including multi-year Roth conversions, tax bracket management, and qualified charitable distributions. Seventh, we mapped out a clear 30, 60, 90-day implementation timeline to turn strategy into action. And eighth, we addressed real-world troubleshooting, how to adapt your plan to market volatility, healthcare surprises, tax changes, and unexpected life events. Let me emphasize this important point. The knowledge you've gained could save you thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands, of dollars and years of financial stress. This isn't just entertainment, it's decades of experience distilled into practical, actionable guidance. In my decades of helping retirees optimize their finances, I've seen firsthand that what separates financially secure retirees from those who struggle is usually knowledge and implementation. The most successful clients I've worked with consistently apply these principles year after year to protect their wealth and their family's future. Now that you understand each piece, here's how they work together to form a comprehensive, integrated retirement strategy. Imagine your retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, Roth, brokerage, working in concert, not in isolation. By blending withdrawals, managing your tax brackets, and timing Social Security, you create a compound effect. Every dollar saved in taxes is a dollar that continues to grow and support your lifestyle. For example, a retiree who coordinates withdrawals and converts $40,000 per year to a Roth IRA over 5 years, while managing their taxable income, can often save $60,000 to $80,000 in taxes and avoid $10,000 to $20,000 in Medicare surcharges. Add in annual tax loss harvesting or qualified charitable distributions, and the total benefit can easily reach or exceed $127,000 over a 25-year retirement. Let me create the aha moment. This is why wealthy retirees often outperform those with larger starting balances. It's not just about how much you've saved, it's about how skillfully you draw it down. After helping retirees navigate multiple market cycles, I can tell you, the wealthy retirees I advise didn't get there by accident. They follow proven systems, review their plans annually, and adapt as laws and markets change. When all these strategies are implemented together, the result is a retirement that's not just comfortable, but resilient, flexible, and primed for lasting legacy. So what can you do in the next 30 days to start putting this knowledge into action? Here's a clear, step-by-step roadmap. Step 1. Assessment phase, first week. Start by gathering these 3 essential documents: your most recent statements for every retirement account, 401k, IRA, Roth, brokerage, your Social Security benefit estimate, and a summary of your monthly and annual expenses, including healthcare and insurance. Calculate your current position using a simple net worth statement, total assets minus any debts. Identify your biggest opportunity area. Perhaps it's a large IRA balance approaching RMD age or uncertainty about when to claim Social Security. Step 2. Planning phase, second week. Create your personalized timeline based on your age and retirement goals. For example, if you're 65 and considering delaying Social Security to age 70, map out which accounts you'll draw from each year. Research the specific options we discussed, like Roth conversions, tax bracket management, and QCDs that apply to your situation. Document your current withdrawal strategy and compare it to what you've learned today. Where are the gaps? Where can you optimize? Step 3. Professional consultation, third week. Schedule a meeting with a qualified financial advisor, preferably one with experience in decumulation and tax-efficient withdrawals. Bring these specific questions. How can I minimize taxes on my withdrawals? Should I consider Roth conversions now or wait? What's the best order for drawing from my accounts based on my spending needs and RMDs? Verify that your advisor understands these advanced strategies. If you're charitably inclined, ask about QCDs and donor-advised funds. Step 4. Implementation begins, fourth week. Start with the lowest risk, highest impact change first. For many, this means setting up automated, blended withdrawals or executing a modest Roth conversion. Set up the systems and accounts needed for your new strategy, such as direct deposit for Social Security, automatic RMD withdrawals, or a cash buffer for market downturns. Begin tracking your progress with these simple metrics: your annual tax bill, your Medicare premiums, your account balances, and your overall withdrawal rate. Celebrate small wins as you see real savings and increased confidence. Remember, this has been educational content designed to inform your decision-making. Every individual's financial situation is unique. What works for one person may not be optimal for another. Always consult with qualified financial and tax professionals before making significant changes. Past performance of any strategy doesn't guarantee future results, and the tax implications we discussed may change based on future legislation. While this information provides a strong foundation, professional guidance is invaluable. A qualified financial advisor can help you customize these strategies. Tax professionals can ensure you're maximizing benefits while staying compliant, and estate planning attorneys can help with the legal aspects. Let's talk about risk and realistic expectations. Every financial strategy carries some level of risk, whether from market fluctuations, tax law changes, or unexpected life events. The goal isn't perfection, it's optimization based on your unique situation. Most successful retirees implement these changes gradually over 6 to 12 months, reviewing and adjusting as they go. Don't let perfectionism prevent you from starting with small improvements. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They're proven, long-term strategies that have stood the test of time. You'll know you're on the right track when your financial stress decreases and you have clear answers to the questions that used to keep you awake at night. You're now part of a community of informed retirees who refuse to settle for average. The journey to financial optimization is ongoing. Markets change, laws evolve, and your needs will shift over time. Continue your education by staying informed about retirement planning developments, and don't hesitate to share your success stories and lessons learned with others. The most successful retirees build a network of support and accountability, learning from both experts and peers. If this video helped clarify your retirement planning strategy, please give it a thumbs up. It helps others find this valuable information. Share your biggest takeaway in the comments. Which strategy will you implement first? Have you already tried any of these approaches? What's your biggest concern about retirement withdrawals that we should address next? Subscribe for more in-depth retirement planning guidance that could save you thousands, and most importantly, take action on what you've learned. Your future self and your family will thank you. Let me leave you with this. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing you've optimized every aspect of your retirement finances. Sleep better tonight knowing you have a clear, proven plan for your financial future. Your children and grandchildren will benefit from the wise decisions you make today, and you'll maintain your independence and dignity by taking control of your financial destiny. You've worked too hard to accept anything less than optimal. The time to act is now. Start your journey, and let this be the year you secure the retirement you truly deserve.